Yesterday, we saw Paul in Miletus just before he was making his journey to Jerusalem. Today, we see Paul in Jerusalem. When he arrived, he was taken by the Jewish leaders to be tried for his view. He has been brought before the Sanhedrin, which was the ruling body of religious leaders. The Sanhedrin was made up of two primary groups, the Pharisees and the Sadducees. As we're told in this passage in Acts chapter 23, verses 6 through 11, we're told that the Sadducees did not believe in the resurrection or in spirits or in angels, but that the Pharisees believed in all of these. So Paul is on trial. And when he realizes that the group is made up of these two factions, he, who had been a Pharisee in the past, decides to kind of use a little bit of strategy. So he says this in verse 6. It says, Paul was aware that some were Sadducees and some Pharisees, so he called out before the Sanhedrin, "My brothers, I am a Pharisee, the son of Pharisees. I am on trial for hope in the resurrection of the dead." Now, when he does that, chaos breaks out because the Pharisees and the Sadducees start arguing. And I'm pretty sure that Paul knew that that's exactly what would happen. And so they begin to go back and forth and debate. And in the end, the Pharisees are saying, "We find nothing wrong with this man." And so the council is rather inconclusive. But before they can actually finish the meeting, it becomes kind of violent. And so the Roman commander who was there also, who had kind of brought Paul in, goes ahead and rescues him and then arranges for him to be taken to Rome. And so we have the witness of God that says to Paul, "Take courage, for just as you have borne witness to my cause in Jerusalem, so you must also bear witness in Rome." Now, this may seem a little odd to you, but as I look at that context between the Pharisees and the Sadducees, I find it somewhat humorous, but also interesting. The Pharisees often get a lot of bad press because they were known for being self-righteous and sticking so much to the letter of the law that they often miss the spirit of what it was really all about. But really, between the Pharisees and the Sadducees, the Pharisees were kind of on the right side of things. At least they believed in the sacred scriptures. And so, we might ask ourselves the question, between the two, if you've got to choose one or the other, which am I? Am I a Pharisee or am I a Sadducee? Am I somebody who looks at the scripture, I come to the scripture and I approach it with my own ideas or even the ideas of maybe a popular school of thought? Or am I coming to the scripture and listening to the voice of the church to tell me what the scriptures mean? Am I a person who believes what's in the Bible, or am I taking my own opinion on the whole idea? So usually we would not want to be associated with the Pharisees. But in this case, if I'm choosing between the two, I want to be a Pharisee. I want to be someone who is taking the word seriously. I want to be listening to the voice of the church to tell me what it is and how it's to be applied. I want to be living by it in my everyday life. Ask yourself this question again. Will we allow our faith and our worldview to be shaped by our own perception, that of the world around us, or the Bible and the teaching of the church?